Hi, today is February 20th, 2023, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 303 for the year, Unknown Key. When I moved into this apartment, they gave me several keys. The key to the front door, the key to the garbage and recycling area, the mailbox key, the key to the top lock of my apartment, and the key to the bottom lock of my apartment. I put them all on a keychain along with my Citibike key, but there is another key on the keychain. I don't know if they gave it to me or where it came from, but I've had this keychain with this mysterious key for well over 6 months, and now and then it bothers me that I don't know what it is or what it is for, but there's one thing I know. It's an unknown key, but it's not a key to the unknown. Poem number 304, Key to the Unknown. It's a song. It's got this weird E minor 7th chord in it. It fucks up the song, but I like the way it fucks it up. That's the chord. It wasn't the key to love and fear in anyone's trembling hands. It wasn't the key to the mystery. It wasn't the key to the plans. It wasn't the key that could make you sing or the key that could make you moan. It was the key to the unknown. It wasn't the key to Franklin's kite. It wasn't the key to the bathroom. It wasn't the key to anyone's heart. It wasn't a toy or an heirloom. It wasn't a key made of plastic or glass. It wasn't a key made of stone. It was the key to the unknown. There are keys that please, there are keys that tease, and there are keys that bring you to your bruised and bloodied knees. There are keys that are kept by the archdiocese, and those are the keys that'll make you say, oh geez. But this key wasn't any of these. It wasn't a key that the minister's wife conceals in her bodice to cuckold her man. It wasn't a key in the song of life. It wasn't a key that you would understand. It wasn't a key that wasn't a key, and it wasn't controlled in 12, wasn't composed in 12 tones. It was a key to the unknown. It was a key to the unknown. I'm not doing it over because you have no idea how many times I've tried to record these already, and there's a lot here. Poem number 304, Unknown Brackage. Last night I remembered that I can watch YouTube on my television, so I watched the Dante trilogy again. It was much better than when I watched it yesterday on my laptop. Then I watched another brackage, but I don't remember which one, and it's bothering the hell out of me because I want to write a poem about that one, whichever one it was. Then I changed gears completely and watched about half of All You Need Is Cash, the Ruddles movie, and then I watched more brackage. I Myth, Mothlight, The Wondering, Window Water, Baby Moving. I checked my YouTube history, and it reminded me that I watched the Dante trilogy and the Ruddles movie and I Myth and Mothlight and The Wondering and Window Water, Baby Moving. But I knew that already, and I searched around some more, and I got frustrated, and now I'm trying to let it go. I could just write about any or all of the ones I know I saw last night. On my TV, of course. Yes, that is probably what I'll do. Probably write about one of those, and the unknown brackage will remain unknown. Poem number 305, an entire book. I could write an entire book of poems about brackage. I already have ideas for several. I was thinking yesterday that if I wrote a poem or two or three or five poems about brackage over the course of several years, or even over the course of several months, I would have it. But this morning I saw that March 9th will be the 20th anniversary of the death of Stan Brakhage, and I'm already in this hell-bent to watch more Brakhage mode, including some of the many I have not yet seen. Like my eyes are starving for Brakhage right now, and I already know I will write about the ones I remember seeing yesterday, and I already have shit to say about Dog Star Man, and I'm going to see more of his movies and probably write more poems about those. So yeah, I could write an entire book. It probably wouldn't be a book that a lot of people would like. It probably wouldn't be a book that Brakhage would have liked. I feel as though Brakhage might have felt that I don't get him, and maybe that is true, and yet I maybe want to write an entire book about someone who maybe I don't get, which makes me wonder about love without getting. Poem number 306, Love Without Getting. Can you love someone without getting them, without having some sense of who they are as a person? I would say, no, you can't. But could you love an artist without getting their art? I would say, yes, you can. Just as there are many ways to appreciate God. And of course, you can't really get God, or at least not completely. And maybe no one can get an artist completely either. And maybe no artist can get themselves completely either. Maybe no person can get themselves completely either. People have told me about myself things that I did not realize. And people have told me stuff about my stuff that I didn't realize. The Sandbox from the Mystical Shit album was inspired by a conversation Peter Missing and I had about where he was talking about corporate pollution. So that's what I thought it was about until I read a review of the album that said the Sandbox was about lost innocence, and I was like, duh, of course it is, duh. And once right after a show, a woman who had just heard me read The Miracle of Childbirth stopped to tell me what that one was about. She got that poem on a much deeper level than I could ever have hoped to, and I love that she got it so deeply, and I loved her immediately and still do. But did I get her? Partially, but did she get me? Probably more than I got her. There's always going to be some getting that won't be gotten. You can certainly love someone without getting them completely, but this was never the issue. The real issue is, can you love an artist or a person without hardly getting them at all? And I still say, no, of course not. But then here's another question. Is it possible to encounter anything without getting something? I see that flower and I get something, and I get whatever I get from that flower. And there is so much that I don't get from that flower, but what little I get from that flower is enough to make me love that flower. But the flower is not a person or an artist. The flower can't say, you don't love me, you don't even know me, you don't get me at all, the way a person can say to me, you don't get me at all, or the way Brakhage could, if he were alive today, say to me what McLuhan said to that man who happened to teach a class in TV, media, and culture at Columbia, you know nothing of my work. One of my favorite scenes in one of my favorite films by He Who Shall Not Be Named. Of course, perhaps that teacher didn't really love McLuhan. The issue there was knowledge, not love. Brakhage could say to me, you know nothing of my work, or you don't get me at all, but I get what I get from Brakhage, and I love what I get, and fuck you, Brakhage, I do love you. Poem number 307, Themself. Why isn't themself a word? Why isn't maybe no artist can get themself completely from the previous poem not a grammatical sentence? Plus, also, I know plus also is not right, but it's a deliberate quirk of my writing that I happen to enjoy employing now and again, so fuck you. Plus also, the word seems necessary if you're referring to a trans person, because what would you say? They thought to their selves, or even their selves? That can't be right. And you wouldn't say their self or their self. That's one word and two word. Because self is the singular of selves, not self. The thing that's really bothering me is that when I wrote the word themself in the previous poem, a red line appeared under the word. It's the red line that I don't like. So I just right-clicked on that motherfucker and clicked add to dictionary, and poof, that red line is gone. Problem solved. Themself is in my dictionary, and there it will remain, as is Ruddles. I right-clicked on Ruddles, and that red line is gone too, as is the red line that was under Mothlight as a single word, which is how the Brakhage film is titled. Another problem solved. That's a lot of problems solved today, and it's not even noon. Now it is noon. Poem number 308, Overload. I am so tired of hearing myself think that I can't hear myself think. And here's the last one for today. Poem number 309, Mothlight. There were all of these dead moth wings over the light bulbs. I hate that, thought Brackage, such sadness. So he, in his own words, tenderly picked them out and pasted them onto a strip of film to try to give them life again. I didn't know this when I watched Mothlight last night. I just found this out just before rewatching Mothlight this morning. Until this morning, Mothlight was problematic for me. Did Brackage kill moths to make this film, I wondered? Now that I know what I know about this film, I love it. It is yet another Brackage film that I love. I'm not saying I get Mothlight. I'm only saying I love Mothlight. And that's it. I went over 10 minutes for the first time. Hope these upload. Thank you very much if you stayed for the whole thing. Thank you. I appreciate it.